Broncos get the bye, and fans spent the day watching and wondering who the Broncos will play next week at Mile High.
It's been a good weekend for playoff football, period. So that's where we find 9 News reporter Rachel Krause. Rachel?
Yeah, guys, there's no one at Mile High. Not yet, but next week that'll be a very different story. We expect to see the stadium rocking with Broncos fans ready to see the team take on the playoffs. We caught up with a few of them 1 week early to hear what they're hoping to see from the team.
There are few places more lonely than being the sole Chargers fan in a bar packed with football fans.
I'm here to watch the Chargers-Patriots game.
Charles Lowell is used to it.
Bostonians are far meaner than Denverites, so I will take any sort of trash talk that the Broncos fans give me from the frozen beer cans that get thrown at me at Gillette Stadium.
Smack talk he hopes his team sees next week.
Chargers lose tonight and that's it, or they win. We have to go play the Broncos. I'm fine with it. Bring it on.
Tonight, at least, he's got support from his friend Paul.
I would hope the Chargers win. I'm not super fond of the Patriots.
But almost everyone inside Tom's Watch Bar is ready to root for the Broncos.
Yes, absolutely. We need the Broncos to win big time.
Even a fan in disguise.
Today, I guess I'm rooting for the Patriots. Normally the Broncos, but today the Patriots.
But why?
My husband.
A love of the team, Vanessa Padilla plans to return.
We're a Broncos household, whether he likes it or not.
Fans here are hopeful the Broncos can put down a win, no matter who they play.
I think they'll do better with the Chargers. The Bills, their offense and defense just cause a lot of havoc for them.
They've been bad for most of my life, so them winning is I think it's great for everybody in Denver.
I think the Broncos really do have an advantage and a real shot at the Super Bowl this year.
I think we're going to play the Bills, but we're going to win either way, so it doesn't even matter.
Whether from a rooftop or a bar, ready to shout it out.
Go Broncos!
Now, when the Chargers and Patriots game ends, we'll know who the Broncos are going to get. But fans we spoke with today say they're not worried. No matter who they get next week, they think that the Broncos can beat whoever that is. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Love the confidence. Hey, that snow that we were all digging out from on Friday, it's not going to be around much longer. The sunshine and mild weather is back. Look at this already. So get ready for it. The mild weather is going to stick around. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here with our look at the forecast. So this is back to the same old, same old.
It is. Our snow drought will be returning as we kick off another warm, dry week of weather. We need a major pattern shift, and we don't see that happening at least this week. So I guess we'll just have to enjoy the lovely weather outside. So far for the season, almost 8 inches of snow at DIA. By the end of the month, we should be closer to 27, so we've got a lot of catching up to do. Temperatures today above the average of 45. In the upper 50s, we've cooled back to the upper 30s along the Front Range. Thankfully, winds are relatively light tonight, not an issue, but at some point this week, we'll be talking about elevated fire danger. We have a system in the northwest that we're tracking, but it will stay north of us, complements of that ridge coming in, allowing in just a few clouds from time to time. So dry overnight, sunny tomorrow, and dry tomorrow night. So no issues, back to work and school. Temperatures cold, but not as cold as we've seen in January. Mid-30s at the bus stop, and weather headlines include a warm, dry start to the week, elevated fire danger a topic again, but there is a cold front coming in on Friday, and we'll talk about what that means for Denver and the mountains coming up.
Kathy, thank you. Tomorrow, Denver city leaders will consider a proposal banning law enforcement from wearing masks.
We have seen ICE use face coverings during Trump immigration crackdowns, including last week when an ICE officer shot and killed a woman from Colorado Springs in Minneapolis. 9 News reporter Angeline McCall breaks down what's being proposed here.
Yeah, Kim, Phil, this proposal would apply to all law enforcement officers in the city and county of Denver. Council members Flor Alvidrez and Chantel Lewis will introduce it in the Budget and Policy Committee tomorrow.
As ICE raids unfolds, one thing goes rarely uncovered: the faces of the federal agents behind the operation.
It immediately escalates a situation. If I was sitting here talking to you in a mask, the energy of our conversation would be different.
Denver Councilwoman Flor Alvidrez says we've seen it in Denver and in Minneapolis, where an ICE officer shot and killed a woman from Colorado Springs.
When you see something so terrible, like someone getting shot in the face, it really helps you realize we need more accountability.
That's why she's introducing this proposal Monday at City Council, banning all law enforcement from wearing masks in the city and county of Denver.
It is the way criminals act. When someone goes in to rob a bank, they're wearing a mask. So it automatically blocks trust and takes away the humanity of seeing someone face to face.
President Trump has previously defended ICE officers for wearing masks. So has the acting director of ICE in an interview with CBS News.
I'm not a proponent of the masks. However, if that's a tool that the men and women of ICE to keep themselves and their families safe, then I'll allow it. I know a lot of elected officials have put forward legislation or proposed legislation about banning of the masks, things like that. I would also want, elected officials to help us hold those people accountable that do dox or threat an ICE officer.
While Alvidrez has similar concerns, she says this proposal meets the same standard for different law enforcement officers from different agencies.
When police officers are willing to put their faces out there because they're there to protect and serve, that we should be holding everyone to that same standard. And they're at risk of being doxxed just as well. I have nothing to tell my constituents that I've done when they ask me. So I have to do something. I work for the taxpayers, and we need to be able to have some accountability over them.
Alvidrez says she started thinking about a city ordinance or change after California passed a statewide bill banning federal officers from wearing masks. The Department of Justice has sued the state of California over that law. In the studio, Angela McCall, 9 News.
We are seeing more protests following the death of a Colorado native in Minneapolis. Today, demonstrators gathered outside of the Centennial ICE office. Colorado's chapter of the General Strike, a national social action group, says they organized the protest. It comes days after an ICE officer shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good. The Trump administration says the officer fired in self-defense. State and local leaders dispute that.
We're out here protesting for justice for Renee and protesting to get ICE out of our state and to abolish ICE across the country.
We reached out to ICE for a response to today's protest. We didn't hear back.
A man is dead. 3 other people are injured after an early morning shooting at a home in Strasburg. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says it happened just before 2 o'clock this morning. Investigators have not said what may have led up to the shooting, and at this point, they have not reported making any arrests. The Sheriff's Office is asking anybody with information to give them a call.